Every logistics leader out there is facing a really big choice right now. It boils down to this. Are you just focused on optimizing the system you already have, or are you ready to truly transform your operations? Honestly, the answer to that question is probably going to define your success for years to come. So let's break it down with a pretty simple analogy. Think about it like this. Are you constantly under the hood, tuning your existing engine for just a little more speed, a little more efficiency? Or is it maybe time to ask if you need a completely new engine altogether? That's really the heart of our discussion today. Small incremental tweaks versus a complete and total redesign. All right, so let's start with what's probably super familiar territory for pretty much everyone in this industry, and that's the world of operational optimization. This is all about making the individual parts of the machine just work better. And, that totally makes sense. For decades, the name of the game in logistics has been optimization. It's the standard way of doing things, it's the daily focus, and it's the yardstick most teams are measured by. It's all about making what you currently have work as efficiently as possible. So when we talk about this, what are we actually looking at? Well, it's the really tangible stuff, right? We're talking about the physical things, the trucks and trailers on the road, the square footage in our warehouses, the routes on a map, and of course, how well we're using our drivers and our equipment. These are the classic levers you pull to try and find more efficiency. And why do we pull those levers? Well, it's all for these very specific goals. The entire game is aimed at hitting these key metrics, like slashing those expensive empty miles, making sure every single truck and every bit of warehouse space is working at full tilt, and the big one, driving down the overall cost of doing business. And let's be really clear, these gains are incredibly valuable. Nobody is saying we should just stop doing this. But, and this is the crucial part, all of these improvements are happening inside the existing box. They're totally constrained by the fundamental design of your current system. You're making the model you have better, but you're not creating a new one. And that leads us straight into a problem that many of you have probably felt, even if you couldn't quite put a name to it. It's what we call hitting the optimization wall, and it's where the law of diminishing returns kicks in, hard. This is that feeling of just spinning your wheels. You're putting in the same amount of effort, maybe even more, but that extra little percentage point of efficiency gets harder and harder and harder to find. It's like you're squeezing the last few drops out of a lemon, and it's taking a massive amount of energy for very little juice. So why does this wall even exist? Well, it's definitely not about a lack of effort. The real issue is a fragmented system. The core problems are systemic. You've got planning totally disconnected from operations, commercial teams making promises that operations can't possibly keep, and all this crucial data is just trapped in different silos, never talking to each other. And this right here illustrates a cycle that so many organizations get stuck in. You spot an inefficiency, you apply a quick tactical fix, you see a little bump, a small gain, but the deeper structural problem is still there. So what happens? A few months later, you're right back where you started, fighting the same fire all over again. This is exactly where we need a huge paradigm shift. Instead of just fixing the parts over and over, we need to start thinking about re-engineering the entire system. This is the big shift to transformation. Okay, let's just pause on this definition for a second because it's so important. Operational transformation is the strategic redesign of how an entire logistics system operates. See, the goal isn't just to improve performance. It's to unlock new levels of performance that were literally impossible to reach within the old structure. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it's not about getting slightly faster trucks. It's about connecting all your data so you know precisely what that truck should be doing in the first place. It's not just about tweaking a single route. It's about redesigning your entire network from the ground up. It's about creating total visibility and using powerful tools like AI to help make decisions across the whole organization, not just in one little department. So now we can really put these two concepts side by side. And this isn't just about doing different things. It's about a fundamentally different mindset. We're really comparing a tactical, short-term fix to a strategic, fundamental change. This slide really says it all. I mean, just look at the difference here. Optimization is tactical, it's short-term, and it's all about improving the parts for these small, incremental gains. Transformation, on the other hand, is strategic, it's long-term, it redesigns the whole system to unlock completely new performance ceilings. One is about running the race better. The other is about redesigning the entire racetrack itself. Okay, so here's a super important point. This is not an either-or argument. You're always going to need to optimize your day-to-day operations. But, and this is a big but, optimization alone just isn't enough anymore. To handle the chaos and complexity of modern supply chains, you absolutely have to embrace transformation to build a more resilient and intelligent system. So, all of this brings us to the future. The most forward-thinking companies out there aren't choosing one or the other. They're building an integrated future by mastering both approaches at the exact same time. So really, the key takeaway is this. Success isn't about abandoning optimization for transformation. It's about creating a system where your daily optimization can thrive. But it's happening inside a transformed, intelligent, and fully connected framework. And what does that future actually look like? It looks like this. It's an organization that is relentlessly tuning its engine every single day. But it's doing that within the chassis of a brand new, high-performance machine that it's strategically built. We're talking about a connected, intelligent network that empowers everyone from the top floor to the front lines to make better, faster, and more coordinated decisions. I want to leave you with this final thought because it just perfectly captures the shift we've been talking about. True, lasting progress isn't about making each individual piece work a tiny bit better in its own little silo. It's about fundamentally changing how all the pieces work together as a whole. So the question for you to think about is this: are you just tuning your engine, or are you ready to start building a new one?